Hello, I know that I said I was making like a last video and then I made another one and now I'm making another one. Anyways, I had an OOC question in the inbox and I wanted to address it because it seemed kind of, I don't know, not exactly urgent, but something I should probably answer pretty soon. And I did not ask you, you need to be quiet. If you want to be a poop head, come over here and be a poop head over here instead of playing with shit. Anyways, so, what was asked was, let me see if I can do this exactly. It says, I was wondering if I get some advice. See, I'm currently dating this one guy, but I've also found someone else that I love, and she loves me too. But the thing is, I know I have to break up with my boyfriend so I can be with her properly. I don't really know how to break up with someone since since all of my past relationships have them break up with me, and I don't want to hurt the guy either. Can I get some help? That's a toughie. I will admit, that is a toughie. I did this, though. Two times. Which is kind of, I don't know, it makes me sound like a terrible person, I'm pretty sure. Thing is, sometimes things don't work out between the person that you're with and you'd like to be with somebody else. Well, I do have some advice, of course. I have to give, like, advice off of the several little standpoints here. First off, the person that you're with right now, I'm not exactly sure how wonderful your relationship is. If it's a really crappy one, I suggest, yeah, get out of that. Do what you want to do. I don't ever just, like, jump into something just because I think it's right. But, I mean, if you're asking, obviously, this other person is the right person for you. So, I'll give advice based off of that. So, pretty much the two times that I did it, the first time I wanted to date somebody else, and it was the stupidest idea I think I've probably ever made. And it happens. Of course, the first person I was dating wasn't the best person either. Both of them kind of turned out to be the same kind of dude. So, pretty much what I did was I told the first guy, I told him, things aren't really working out between us, and I think that we should, go our separate ways. I don't want any hard feelings on this, and I still really care about you, and I still like you as a friend, but the relationship aspect of this isn't working out for me. Like, the first one I had, it was a long-distance relationship to begin with, so it kind of worked out for the best anyway, because we didn't really see each other that often. But I brought up several different points, like, we were far away from each other, we didn't see each other that often. When we did see each other, we really didn't do a whole lot. He just either played a lot of video games or went off and hung out with a lot of other friends instead of staying with me. Like one time that he was there, he decided to instead go to a concert while I was sick and not even help me out. And like I was throwing up and I was lonely and I felt like crap, but he decided I'm gonna go to a concert and I'll just leave everything in this other room instead of bringing you some stuff before I leave or asking if you need anything before I even leave. So things like between us just weren't really connecting. On the other hand, though, I still am in touch with him. I still talk to him on Facebook. I still think I pretty much know where he lives, and he actually commissioned me to do a piece of Pokemon artwork for him the other day. So it's pretty cool. It helped me buy Pokemon X and Y, so I guess not the other day, like 2 months ago. But he helped me buy my copy of Pokemon X, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much how I did it, and personally, I wouldn't wait to date the other person, like, right away. Like, if you break up with somebody, give it a few weeks, maybe, if you can, even, like, a month before you start dating someone else. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't hang out with this other person and see this other person and, be on a little more of a personal level with them, but I wouldn't make any, like, direct notifications that you're dating that person until a little while later, because then of course the person that you were dating before is going to be super, super angry with you that you just kind of broke up with them and went to somebody else, even if they understand why you broke up with them. I know it's just been a past experience that I've seen in people, like, This is like appropriate of me to say, but my sister like had dated guys like left and right, and sometimes was dating other guys while she was dating other guys. So it was something special. The second guy that I went out with, the one that I broke up with prior and then went to this other guy, I actually started dating him shortly after I broke up with the first guy. I think it was probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 days after I broke up with the first one. Even that, like even if that, like it was within the week. And it wasn't a very good idea. I kind of jumped into it. I met him randomly and I started hanging out with him, like every day because he would always be over at one of my friends' houses, I guess, so he became my friend. I met like 6 people in one day. Like I had been like super depressed, didn't know anybody where I had just moved. Like I just moved out of my parents' house and was working at a grocery store. And I met like these like I think it was like 5 or 6 guys. And we were all just goofing off and playing outside. Ended up they really all liked role playing. They all liked LARPing. They all did like D&D, all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool. So I started hanging out with them. And I ended up dating one guy. I got myself into a whole load of trouble with him that I won't go into. But when it came down to it, I had been dating him for almost 4 years. It was about 3.5 years when I broke up with him. And what I had been doing prior to that, which was terrible of me, and I don't know, like it's terrible to me, I guess, because I feel that way. I just feel like I say a lot of bad things about myself, but I probably shouldn't, but I do. But I had been talking to and role-playing with Devon since we pretty much met. So since he was like 13 and I was 16. So, and I mean, he's like 2 years and some odd months younger than me. So shortly after he turned 14 when I was 16. So, but we'd been doing this stuff forever and ever and ever. And the guy that I was with started getting super, super jealous because he's the one who introduced me to Kingdom Hearts and a lot of these other series that I really, really enjoy now. Of course, all stuff I enjoy now was whatever before then, but Kingdom Hearts was a really, really big one, as well as some of the Final Fantasy stuff. More or less, I had liked both of the things before I was with him, but he really, really got me into it. Anyways, he got super jealous because I was role-playing with my best friend this Kingdom Hearts stuff, and it turned out to be that we were constantly sending these little subtle hints that, hey, I really like you. Like, we should hang out more often, even though we don't live in the same town. We should, like, hang out and do more than just roleplay. And so those things kind of started happening, but mostly through roleplay. I would go stay the night, and we would do roleplay kind of stuff. Nothing bad or anything, and it just finally got to the point where I was fed up with the person that I was with because he treated me like crap. Like, he was probably only nice to me for about 1.5 years, and it was stupid of me to stay there because I pretty much was like, this person's helping me pay my rent. This person is actually role-playing with me and paying attention to me some days. But all in all, I figured it out in the end. So 3.5 years later, I was like, I'm finally done. And I asked Devon if I could live with him. And he found a place. I had to wait, oh God, like months. It was months that I had to wait. But he found a place. And finally, I told the guy that I was with, even though I was still living with him, which is crazy enough, I told him I can't do it anymore. I just can't stand to be with you anymore because you're a terrible person. You treat me like crap. You do all these things that I don't like. I don't agree with you. We've really, really grown apart, and you're really immature. Like, he wouldn't even get a job. Half the time he didn't even want to bathe, and it was absolutely disgusting. So anyways, he threw a whole temper tantrum over it, broke a bunch of things. He had previously given me an actual metal Fenrir Keyblade, and he went in my room, took it outside, and bent it in half. And he threw it on the floor, and it was like in this C shape because it wasn't very good metal. It was just some stainless steel metal. But regardless, it was a freaking cool Keyblade. You can't really find them anymore. So no, he throws this big tantrum, and I'm just like, whatever, whatever. He calls me all these names, and I'm just telling him the whole time. I'm like, I don't want this to be bad between us. I'm like, I can't do this as a relationship anymore. Like, you're a really good friend. Like, on days that you just want to hang out and just be friends or whatever, that's great, and I'm cool with that. But I can't have like a romantic relationship with you anymore because it's not working. Well, anyways, so I I took everything that he'd broken, bent, whatever, and fixed all of it. And as soon as I fixed all of it, he decided that he wanted to take all of it back, even though he'd given it to me. But I was like, whatever, I'll be out of here in a few months. And I was. I left, and he trashed the apartment that we had been in, and they got on me about it. But I told them, I said, I don't even live there anymore, and so they kind of dropped my stuff on it. And after a while, like after like a month or so, he starts sending me like these pity texts about how much he was sorry and blah 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 and whatever. And it's kind of a creep. I moved clear down to Boise, Idaho, from Clarkston, Washington, and that's quite a ways. It's about 6 hours difference. And he followed me there. He moved to Middleton, Idaho, which is about 40 minutes away from Boise, and kind of creeped me out. But I ended up moving back to Clarkston, and then he did it too, and it was just really, really weird. Ended up living in the same place again. But all in all, as weird as it was and as creepy as it was, um, after the whole fact of me breaking up with him, even though we'd had a really, really hard breakup, we still have been on talking terms. Um, I blocked him on Facebook and unfriended him on Facebook. Recently, I unblocked him. He's still not my friend, but I unblocked him. Um, he still says some weird things to me every now and then, like he texts me calling me sexy. He hasn't done it for about half a year now, which is actually really, really nice. But all in all, we're still on talking terms. If I saw him again, it probably wouldn't be that awkward. He'd probably still want to talk with me. I mean, crap. After the whole thing, after we had all moved away from each other but still lived in the same, like, valley, like, same, like, two towns, him and a bunch of other people that previously I hadn't really gotten along with that well either. All of us started playing 3DS together, started playing, Wii together, whatever. And we all had a good time, and then we all ended up moving away from each other, whatever. And I kind of miss those days, even though I had that really, really awkward ex-boyfriend there. But anyways, that's pretty much the advice I can give. The first person I actually ever dated, quotations, was like set up like a matchmaker thing, and my sister and all of my friends thought it would be wonderful that just because within the group they were all dating each other, that the two oddballs in the group that weren't dating each other should date each other too. And it was weird. We dated each other for about a year, and then both of us looked at each other one day and said, this is really dumb. I'm not sure why we're doing this. Is it okay if we break up? And he's like, yeah, you still want to be friends? I'm like, yeah, you still want to play Pokemon? He's like, yeah. So it was all good. But pretty much most of my breakups haven't been too bad, I guess. I've only ever dated 4 people, like, in my entire lifetime. The last one that I broke up with was weird just because it was like a 3.5-year thing, and he'd asked me to marry him, and he asked me to marry him like 8 months after knowing him, and it's freaking weird. But that's about all the advice I can really give. Pretty much, in short, I would say, I'm sorry. This isn't really working out for me. I would still love to be friends with you. I'm just really not, in the relationship anymore. I'm just not feeling the same way you are on an emotional level, possibly. I'm not sure how you feel. Um, just get that out there. And like I said, too, I wouldn't start dating somebody else, at least, for a few weeks to a month after breaking up with another person, because it just makes it really, really weird. The only reason I did on this last one was because he already knew about it. He was already angry that I'd been doing the whole roleplay thing, and I was just like, fine, you know what? I love my best friend. Too bad, dude. I hate you. But, yeah, that's about all the advice that I can give. Sadly, there's no advice from Devon, because Devon doesn't feel good, and I'm sure Devon's probably reading Game of Thrones, because he's in bed and doesn't feel good. But yeah, So now that it's been like 15 minutes of listening to me bullshit about relationships, I think I'm probably going to turn it off now. I hope that I helped the best I could. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I'll see if I can at least type a response back. If not, make like a shorter video with some more information for you. Thank you for asking the question. It was actually kind of fun getting a little bit off my chest and being able to help somebody if I can. So, I guess to everybody, since this was like the OOC video and it's my last video now of the year, everybody have an awesome new year and be safe. Drink, party, be merry, but be safe. Don't do anything too stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Of course, that's kind of that's pretty vague. Don't get in trouble with the cops. How's that? Anyways, we'll see you guys next time, which is in a couple weeks, if my school doesn't get in the way. Peace.